So, this is part two. When I felt them butterflies in my stomach for the first time from him kissing me, we were kissing. He started getting a little handsy with me, and he was like, I'm not going to hurt you. I promise you, I'm not going to do that, and everything else. And just feeling them butterflies for the first time ever, like, it was, to me, a very unique, like, bond. And the next thing I know, I'm laying on the couch, he's on top of me, we're making out, we're getting to be a little more with each other. And so after we had got done actually making out, we were sitting there holding hands, and he was like, I really like you. I was like, I like you too. And not knowing at the time, he was already with a girl, and I was not aware of that. My best friends did not even tell me that. And he was like, yeah, I'll talk to you at school tomorrow. And I was like, all okay. And so me and my grandma went to go drop him back off at home. And the whole way back, I was just smiling. And my grandma was like, why are you smiling hard? I was like, I just am. And I didn't think anything about it at the time. And this is like a couple months after I had gotten told about he had a girlfriend at the time. And so the next day at school, I show up. He's there waiting for me. And I get off the bus. And it was usually like when I got off the bus, I would go and hang out with like my girlfriends in my group. And he called me over. He's like, hey, you. I was like, me? He's like, yeah, come here. I was like, okay. So I'm hanging out with all of his posse. It was him, Jake, another guy, I forget his name, and another one. Well, at the time, his friend Jake in high school was going by Baver Jenkins, and he's like showing me off. And he's like, yeah, this is a girl that I like, and da-da-da. Well, not knowing at that time, his friends knew all about all this other shit. And weirdly enough, me and his friend Jake started developing more of a bond. And the days that he was not there, he told Jake to have me stay close to him and to me be more involved with their group. Well, one of the days that he was there, the one morning I got off the bus, I was having a bad morning, and I had my earbuds in, not even paying attention. I walk over to my group, and they're like, what's up with you? I was like, what do you mean? They're like, you're in a really bad mood. What's going on? And I said, oh, just nothing much. I'm just mad. And this is like early beginning when me and him first were talking and all that shit. And it was because the guy I was with prior, me and him had gotten into a fight about something. I can't remember what, but I was mad over it. And he had walked over to me, my back was turned, and I had my earbuds in, and he tapped me on my shoulder. And me having the weirdest reflexes I have, I took my left arm and I kind of swung back, and I was like, oh crap. I was like, I am so sorry. And he's like, what's your deal? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you usually come off the bus and you usually come over and be saying hi to me. I looked at him, I said, look, no offense. I was like, I'm having a bad morning. I was like, I don't want to talk right now. And he was like persistent. He's like, just talk to me. Well, what's wrong? I was like, I don't want to talk about it. And so the bell rung. We went to class. He was texting me during class. And so during like the first break that we had, we were out in the daggone like opening way, and I was walking out, strutting my stuff, thinking I'm little as hot shit. And he was calling my name. I didn't even fucking hear him because I had my earbuds in again. And he, like, I felt a person grab me on my wrist. And I'm like, what the hell? And I look back and it's him. And I'm like, don't do that. I was like, I have my earbuds in. And he's like, why are you avoiding me? I was like, I'm not. And he's like, you didn't want to talk to me when you got off the bus this morning. You are barely answering my text messages. You're barely wanting to, barely talk to me. And I'm like, look, I'm having a bad morning. Just back off. And he's like, okay, I'm sorry. And this, that. The next thing I know, he wouldn't let go of my wrist. So he drags me down the steps to the lower part of the actual building. And there's like this dark hallway. He takes me in the dark hallway, grabs me by both my hands like this, puts me up against the locker, and he's like, you're mine, all mine. Do you understand me? I was like, yes. I was like, yes, I do. And he literally kissed me. And he's like, I don't care what the fuck happened. You need to, understand. You're all mine. And I was like, okay. And so I kind of I played it off. And so I went back up the steps, went and joined with all my group. We were talking. They're like, girl, what happened? What happened? I said, him being persistent about trying to be with me. He kissed me again. And they're like, you guys kissed? I was like, yeah. And of course, my girls had to embarrass me. They're like, oh. And the thing about it is that at the time, he was acting a little strange. And he kept pulling out his phone, looking at his phone. And I'm like, I didn't think nothing about it. Well, I'm trying to think. We were going to hang out one day, and I had happened to call his phone. And this girl answered. And she was like, yeah, this is his girlfriend, Melissa. And I'm like, his girlfriend? I was like, he's been talking to me. And she's like, I didn't actually know about you. I was like, I didn't either. I'm like, I'm sorry. And she's like, no, girl, you're fine. It's just no biggie. Well, not knowing that she had found out about me, from what I got told later on, the day that she found out about me, her and him got into a fight. And she asked him about who I was and everything else. Supposedly, he had told her that I was just this annoying girl, that I wasn't anybody. And when I found out about it, yes, did I get hurt? Yeah, I did emotionally. It did bother me. And he had tried calling me, tried texting me and all that shit. I wouldn't answer because I was really upset and really pissed off. And so the guy that I was with at that time, I was back, going with him, hanging out with him and all that shit. So the morning that he drove me to school, I got out and I seen Chris standing in the parking lot. So I was walking up, he ran over to me and he's like, you and me, we need to daggone talk. I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. And he's like, can we talk? I was like, no, I don't want to talk to you. And I was like, just go away. And he was like, don't be like that. Talk to me. I'm like, no, just leave me alone. Back off. And so I was walking to, I think, my government class or something like that. And I went into class. My one girl was there. She's like, what is your deal? Why are you mad? I said, did you know that he had a damn girlfriend? She's like, no, not that I was aware of. I was like, yeah, his girlfriend answered his goddamn phone. And she was like, you're kidding. I was like, no, I'm not. Well, not knowing during that school day, he was texting Melissa, telling her that he was going to be leaving her to be with me. And at that time, I didn't, I wasn't in the middle of that. And I was just, mad, pissed off, and focusing basically on me. And so I come out of class and I put my earbuds in. The guy I was with at that time, he come walking over to me, and out of nowhere, Chris comes towards me. And he seen me and this guy fucking holding hands, and he comes and literally rams into me. And he looked at that guy and he's like, get off of her. The girl's with me. And the guy that I was with at the time is like, no, the girl's with me, just back off. And I looked at both of them, I said, stop it. And it was so embarrassing, it was so awkward. The hallway got so fucking quiet. It was that embarrassing. And I'm walking out to this center. Here comes all the teachers and all this shit. And I'm like, I turn my head. I'm like, oh my God, this is not happening. This is not happening. This is not happening. And they were like, hey, are you okay? And then here comes my advisor, Miss Jordan. And she looked at me and she's like, what's going on? I was like, nothing. She's like, no, what's going on? I was like, the guy I've been dating currently and the guy Chris came and got me out of class, they kind of got into it, and it was over me. And she's like, you're joking. I was like, no, I'm not. And she was like, what's going on? I was like, Chris is wanting to be with me, but I found out he had a girlfriend. I'm in a bad mood. I didn't want to talk to him. I didn't even want to basically be around him. So later that night, I got home, and he's blowing my phone up, texting me, like, talk to me. I'm sorry. I should have been honest with you. Talk to me. He's like, baby, I'm sorry. And I'm like, when he had texted me, babe, I'm like, excuse me, baby? I'm not your baby. And stay tuned for part 3.